Not everyone can keep their head straight when faced with the stalemate of Cold War. And suddenly the war's getting hot, and nuclear strike and counter-strike leave the world desolate and hostile to life. So it's only natural to put the best of the best into hibernation in underground shelters, so they can be awoken when the nuclear devastation has passed. But maybe more than one nation had that plan. So we have to make sure that they will neither outbuild nor outbreed us. We must not allow a Mineshaft Gap. That is basically the story of the 1964 satire film Dr. Strangelove, and it's the premise of the 2024 game Mineshaft Gap. Now, you don't have to know the movie to enjoy this game. Full disclosure, I actually only watched the film after discovering this game, but I highly recommend both. When the game begins, the world has already gone out with a big bang, and the few survivors are hibernating in the underground bunker. And now it's your job as the disembodied brain managing this bunker to lead the repopulation operation when the living conditions above ground have improved. At least on paper. Maybe because of malfunction or sheer boredom, you start waking your hibernators to build a new civilization underground. And this base expansion, resource extraction, blueprint research, training, and mutated monster fighting is what Mineshaft Gap is about. You expand the bunker, defrost new dwellers, build and design workstations, and manage the scarce resources you come across when digging new shafts. And eventually, you even begin communication with the outside world. Even though the Commodore 64 ceased production in 1994, there are still tons of amazing games being developed for it. And Mineshaft Gap is one of them. I came across it when scouring itch.io for real-time strategy games for the C64. Something you naturally do every once in a while. And even though the RTS heavy hitters we all know and love post-date the 8-bit era, naturally, considering the processing power required for complex pathfinding, resource tracking, and active combat, there are some great titles to find on the C64, giving this endeavor their best shot. If you actively follow new C64 releases, you probably have already heard of this game, since, as I already mentioned, it came out in 2024. But I still find myself coming back to it, so I thought, why not share it with others? Because maybe this has slipped under your radar and is a game right up your alley. Don't get me wrong, I love a good C64 platformer or arcade shooter. They're perfect for a quick, chaotic plug-and-play session. But I find it worth celebrating the homebrews that demand a bit more investment. The ones that offer a deep, rewarding experience if you're willing to put in the time. And you will need some time. The game comes with an 11-page manual, and you get in-game warnings when you run low on water, energy, or oxygen. But I definitely accidentally liquidated a few colonies before I finally found my footing. Even though this is an RTS, it's not about high APM or lightning-fast reaction speeds. I'm an amateur when it comes to C64 hardware, but I'm pretty sure trying to input 200 actions per minute would just make one blow up. You have to carefully use your dwellers and resources since both are finite. It is better to take a bit more time and get your macro in line. The basic fighting against the critters is automatic. You do have to keep an eye on the health and attack abilities of your dwellers, as well as certain tasks which prevent them from fighting. It's not about micromanaging your inputs, but more about keeping an eye on dangers and reacting in time, because nothing throws you back more than losing too many workers. To save your future colony from my past mistakes, here are a few golden rules. First, be careful when digging your vertical shafts. The manual reminds you that when you build ladders over a patch of resources, you cannot mine them. So, take the time to think about how to build before you create an abomination like this. Second, take your ventilation seriously. I can't stress this one enough, and this definitely killed my runs the quickest when I wanted to speed up my resource extraction and mismanaged my ventilators. In the first 4 levels you have enough oxygen. Everything below needs a constantly manned ventilator to cover 3 levels. The one it's on, one above, one below. And you have to train up the worker, because when they die from any critter down there, you can easily lose a whole group of people. And make sure to assign your dwellers to do anything. Even if you don't know what they could do at the moment, have them guard on a safe level. They will climb into the furthest corner of your bunker and they will die. Third, do research sparingly. Those scientists burn through carbon like crazy. You need to research those blueprints. But before you realize it, everything has come to a standstill for you to know how to build a structure with no means of getting it built anytime soon. Fourth, build storage and keep an eye on your resources. It is really worth it to level up your dwellers so they extract resources more efficiently. But that heightens the risk of them mining resources you have no storage for. So, always keep an eye on your storage whenever a dweller is mining. Fifth, make use of the guarding ability. Especially in the later stages of the game, those mutated crawlies in your bunker are no joke, and a highly efficient worker is easily killed while operating vital infrastructure. And when you are really unlucky, they can even be killed in the sickbay. So make sure that you use your fighters for guarding the ones training in the gym, armory or study, and make sure that most, if not all of your dwellers get some time in the armory to make them a bit more resistant. And a dweller that is actively guarding won't get stupid ideas like climbing down an unventilated shaft, so it's a win-win really. Honestly, all of this advice could be summarized as read the manual. But even though I read it, I totally underestimated how quickly carbon runs out and how fast things go completely sideways when your ventilation fails. It's a delicate balance to make true on the real-time strategy promise while navigating the 64K RAM limitations of the Commodore 64. Many great strategy games go for turn-based gameplay, a reasonable choice and fun when executed well. But there is something about the flurry of real-time strategy gameplay that is missing from a turn-based or 4X game. Only a few titles on the C64 managed to capture that, and Mineshaft Gap is one of them. And even if you suck at this game and kill your dwellers constantly, you can still have a blast with this game. Trust me on that. There are a handful of homebrew titles trying to push the 64K hardware to its limits. Stay tuned for my next video, where I'm diving into another C64 game that tackles real-time strategy in a different way, and is basically the title that kicked off this little C64 RTS renaissance. So until next time, and remember, don't allow a Mineshaft Gap.